Hey, what's up everybody? This is Technohead. Welcome back to my channel. This is the third video in a series that I'm making that will take a close look at the top 25 most valuable games from the libraries of classic systems. We've already taken a look at the Atari 2600 and the Intellivision, and you know what that means. Today, we've got to take a look at Colecovision. When you think of the early days of video games, it was definitely the big three: Atari, Intellivision, and Colecovision. I made a list of the top 25 most valuable Colecovision games in 2002 based on the price guide that was included in Billy Galaxy's book, Collecting Classic Video Games. I'll be taking those prices from 2002 and comparing them to today's prices using complete in-box listings from pricecharting.com. If somebody bought these games in 2002, would they have been a good investment? In the last 20 years, have the prices gone up, down, or stayed the same? I've also included the rarity from rarityguide.com so we can have some idea if the rarity of a game has an effect on its value over time. Everybody grab your Super Action controller and plug in, because we're going to take a look at the top 25 most valuable Colecovision games. First up, in the number 25 spot, we have Word Feud. Word Feud is a puzzle game where you try to find words. It's pretty much an edutainment game. This game in 2002 was $695, which is a lot. Unfortunately, it's dropped in price about 58%, and now, today, it's down to about $288. This has a rarity of 93, so this is an extremely rare game. At number 24, we have Cosmic Crisis. Cosmic Crisis looks very similar to Lode Runner to me. It's got gameplay like the classic Lode Runner games. It has a rarity of 49 and a price in 2002 of $200. Unfortunately, this is another game that's lost some value since then. It's down to 178 today. But don't worry, prices will be getting a lot better as we move on. In the next spot, number 23, we have Tank Wars. Tank Wars is essentially the tank level from Tron made into a single video game. It has a rarity of 72, so it's a relatively rare game. In 2002, this game would have cost you $175, but if you tried to pick up a copy today, you'd have to spend $197. That means that it's had about a 12% increase over the last 20 years. Next up, we have Bert's Qubes, the sequel to Bert. This is a puzzle game where you try to match different patterns and jump on blocks in a specific order to make them disappear. In 2002, this game that had a 77 rarity was $195. But in 2022, this game goes for $233, which is a 19.49% increase. Coming up next, we have the rare game Threshold. This game was $80 in 2002. And it has a rarity of 76. It's a pretty standard Space Invaders clone, sort of has you fighting birds similar to like Demon Attack or something like that. If you wanted to find a copy today, it would be about $148, which is an 85% increase from its price in 2002. At the number 20 spot, we've got Motocross Racer. This game is a 55 on the rarity guide, which means it's not as rare as some of the other games you can see. In 2002, a copy of this game would have been $88, but today it's gone up to $163 for a box copy. That's an 85.23% increase in value over the last 20 years. That's Motocross Racer. In the 19 spot, we've got Tomarc the Barbarian from Zonix Games. We've seen a lot of these games from this company in this list, so this is the first one. Tomarc is a side-scrolling platformer game, but in the early 80s vein, meaning it was extremely difficult to control and a little difficult to understand what's going on. In 2002, this was a $90 game, and in 2022, this would cost you $175. Next up, we've got Robin Hood. Robin Hood is a sort of combat game, kind of similar to Excitey's Crossbow. You run around and shoot people with bows and arrows, which is what Robin Hood would do, of course. This game in 2002 had a price of $90, but in 2022, a box copy will go for $208. That means this game has gone up 131%. Chuck Norris Superkicks is up next at 17. This is another game from Zonix, and it looks to share the same engine as the previous game, Robin Hood. This game was about $65 in 2002. But today, it's gone up in price to $158, which is an increase of 143%. This game is relatively rare at a 73 on the rarity guide. Dance Fantasy comes in at the 16 slot. This is a game from Fisher-Price, so it's most likely aimed at children. In 2002, the price was $65, and it has a rarity of 85. Today, the price is about $170, which makes it about a 161% increase for Dance Fantasy. Aquattack is in the 15 spot. This is a side-scrolling combat game where you fight helicopters and tanks and things like that in your speedboat that has, I guess, probably guns equipped to it. It's hard to tell in the 80s graphics what exactly you're shooting. Might be harpoons. This game was $90 in 2002, but in 2022 it goes for a price of $293. That's a pretty sizable increase of 225%. Oil's Wells up next. This is from Sierra Vision, and it's kind of a maze game mixed with maybe a puzzle game a little bit. You're moving around a maze and chomping on things, but you have a hose that's connected back to your home base, making it difficult to get all the way through the maze without being strategic. This game was $58 in 2002 and goes for $199 today. It has a rarity of 68. Followed up by Sammy Lightfoot at number 13. This is another Sierra Vision game. This game is essentially kind of a, I guess, Donkey Kong Jr. alike. You're sort of jumping around on girders and swinging around on ropes and stuff like that. In 2002, this game would have cost you about $90. But today, if you want a box copy, you're looking at about $311, which is a 245.56% increase. And here we have a game that we also saw on the Intellivision list. This is Fathom, which is an iMagic game. This game for the Colecovision was about $35 in 2002. And in today's prices, it would be about $140, which is a 300% increase. This game is relatively rare on Colecovision with a rarity guide of 70. At number 11, we've got Dragonfire. Dragonfire is almost like an early sort of attempt to replicate, I think, like Dragon's Lair, because looking at the gameplay, you sort of repeat from where you started off if you die, and it looks very hard. It was $35 in 2002, and today it goes for $153. It's a 68 rarity for Dragonfire. Next up, we have a very strange game. It has a strange box, and the box does not lie. This game is called Slurpy, and in 2002, it would have cost you $95 to get your hands on a copy of this box with the weird artwork. In 2002, the Slurpy fans have gone crazy, and it's about $475 to get a copy of Slurpy. This game has a 64% rarity, and it has gone up 400%. Up and Down is coming in at number 9. This is a game that also appeared on the Atari 2600 list. In 2002, this was a $65 game. Its rarity was not listed on Rarity Guide, so that could mean that this is a European-only release or something like that, maybe. In 2002, this game would cost you $333, according to price charting, and that makes it a 402% increase in the last 20 years. Next up, we have a game that's based on an arcade game from a licensed Atari game, or game that appeared on the 2600, and this is Pitfall II. Pitfall II also has references to the Pitfall cartoon. It has Snaggletooth, the saber-toothed tiger, and stuff like that. Sort of a strange game, but it cost you $30 in 2002, and today it costs you about $156. It has a rarity of 58, but it's gone up 420%. Coming in at number 7, It's Only Rock and Roll, another game from Zonix. This is a rock and roll band management simulator. Doesn't appear to have any real graphics. It's all just sort of text-based. It also has K-Tel in the logo, which makes me think maybe it was a mail order or maybe it was only European. It was $85 in 2002 and went for $447 in 2022, a 425% increase. Jungle Hunt comes in at the number 6 slot. This is an Atari game appearing on the Colecovision. Jungle Hunt was pretty ubiquitous at the time. I think it came out for lots of consoles. For the ColecoVision, it would have cost you about $30 to get a copy in 2002, but in 2022, the price went up to $165, giving this game a 450% increase. This is a relatively rare game, coming in at $89. Boulder Dash is the number 5 slot. Boulder Dash was about $35 in 2002. This game is a maze game that sort of has Dig Dug style gameplay, I guess you could say. In 2022, a copy of Boulder Dash for ColecoVision is $214, which is a 511% increase. This game is very rare with a 94. Sector Alpha slides in at the 4th spot. Sector Alpha was $95 for a box copy in 2002. This game is like a first-person missile command. You sort of switch between screens and shoot at incoming missiles. This is a very expensive game in 2022. For $647 you could get a copy. That's a 581% increase. It's a very rare game at a 93. In the number 3 spot is Wizard of Iz Wizmath, based on the sort of inscrutable cartoons or comic series The Wizard of Id. This is an edutainment math game from Sierra, and it costs $59 to get a copy box in 2002, and it has gone up significantly to $723 in 2022, giving it a 1,125% increase in value over 20 years. That's followed up by number 2, Alcazar, the Forgotten Fortress. This game came out in 1985, but it has a lot of similarities graphically to some later Nintendo games, such as The Legend of Zelda, and even a map similar to the one in Super Mario Bros. 3. This game was $35 in 2002, and in 2022, it goes for $545, which is a 1,457% increase. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The number 1 game, Skiing. Skiing is a game that came out very late in the console's life, and as such, it's a very rare game. It's not as rare as some of the games on this list, but it is pretty sought after. It's had the most significant increase in price. It's gone from $25 in 2002 to $656 for a box copy in 2022. That's a 2,524% increase for Skiing. And there you have it. The top 25 most valuable ColecoVision games from 2002 and where they are today in 2022. Do you have any of these games in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear more about collecting ColecoVision and what games you think should have the most value. I'm going to be making several more of these videos, and so if you liked it, please click the like button and subscribe so you'll be notified as soon as another video in this series is released. Thanks so much for coming by and checking out the video. I had a great time making it. I love the ColecoVision. My name's Technohead, and we'll see you next time.
We have guidance channel. 10, 9, 8, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running, commit. Liftoff. We have liftoff. 11:22 a.m.